Thanks for joining us today in the garden. We are here with Craig from Grange Co-op. We are talking about bare root trees. This tree that you have here with you is actually a really cool tree. You were telling me it's a cherry tree, but there's something special about it.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. We have a few of these of different types of trees, but this is a combination cherry tree. So this has 4 different types of cherries grafted on to this one plant. So each of these, where you can see a little tag here, where each of these tags are, each of these limbs is a different type of cherry. So this limb will produce Royal Anne cherries. This one will produce Black Tartarian. This one here will produce Lamberts. And this one here will produce Van. So it's a really interesting way to go if you have like a smaller yard, or you only can have like one tree, and you want a variety of different types of cherry. And it's not just cherries. You can get this with pear. You can get it with apple. You can get it with some of the prunus varieties, the plums and whatnot. So yeah, the really cool way to go if you have kind of a smaller area. And big thing right now is that bare root this is the time to plant bare root trees. They're only available in the dormant period. Cost is lower on this than it would be if you were buying a potted tree later in the season. And there's just a great variety to choose from. So this really is like the perfect time to be out there planting your trees. So what you're going to want to do when you plant. So like I said, what's in here are roots that from the plant. This has been field grown, so this was out, up until a month ago, or maybe even less than that. This was out in the field growing. They go through, and when they harvest them, when they take them out, these roots have been trimmed. And so what that means is that generally a plant has kind of an equilibrium between how much root mass there is and how much is growing on the top. So with a bare root tree, it's important that you want to kind of prune back the top because there's not enough roots to sustain the growth that's here generally. So it's a little bit different when you're pruning a 4-way or a combination fruit tree, because you want to make sure that you keep every limb that has a different kind. So you wouldn't ever want to trim off one of these, because then you're losing a whole type of cherry. But things you want to do is you kind of want to pull it back so each variety has about an equal distance from the root system. So what I would do here is I would start taking off, trimming this back here. And then I want to take these big ones, even though these are, a lot taller. I want to trim these back actually to a similar height to these, because they all kind of want to be a similar, whatever's farthest from the root system kind of becomes dominant. And we don't want just this type of cherry to be dominant. We want all of them to all grow kind of pretty consistently.
So you're doing this right when you get it?
So when we get it, right before we plant it, we want to be going out. We've talked before on some pruning about how we're pruning to like outward facing buds. Wherever the bud is, I pruned it here because this bud, when that shoot comes out, it's going to go away from the center of the tree. If I had cut it to this bud, then you would have that next limb kind of going up and interfering with these others.
Okay, kind of giving it almost like a haircut, making sure it's all growing at the same rate. Perfect. Okay, well that's really cool. I think it's cool how it grows different types of cherries on it. What a fun little tree.
Huge, and we get just a huge variety of different kinds of fruit trees. And like I said, we probably get 5 different types of combination ones where you can have different types. You have to do it by the family, so it's not like you can't have an apple and a cherry on the same tree, right? But you can have multiple varieties of cherry on one tree, multiple varieties of apple on one tree. Like I said, we have that is for pears as well. We have it for plums. They're a really interesting way to go. And like I said, if you can only do one tree, you can get a variety by having a combination.
Okay, is there anything else people need to know about bare root trees?
Just that the timing is important. You want to come into our stores as early in the season as possible. Generally your time for that is kind of February and March. The later you get in the season, we only get one delivery, so the later you wait in the season, the less selection there's going to be. So you want to make sure get in as early in the season as you can, so you can get kind of the biggest selection of choices you can have.
Yeah, you want to go get that cherry tree right now.
Do it
now.
Don't
miss out on that.
Leave right now.
Yeah, right this second. You heard him. Heard it here first. And thanks for joining us today in the garden. If you'd like to learn more about bare root trees, you can head to our website or just head to a Grange Co-op store near you. And we will see you next time in the garden.